Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and this is the second part of the not lost on VHS, but stuck on VHS, where in the previous video I talked about really six horror films that are kind of stuck on VHS that needs a DVD or Blu-ray release. So in this one I'm going to focus more on the action films, and like I can probably tell, it's really like up to each and every person to decide if it's really like action or if it's more like a horror or yeah, whatever. But yeah, let's begin right away. So the first one is a film called Savage Justice, which I believe is like a Filipino production or Filipino film. It's actually directed by Joey Romero, who is pretty much famous for making some of those action schlocky films from the 70s and 80s. Now, I have seen this one before. I thought this was actually pretty darn entertaining. Oh my god, I think there was some nudity on the back, so I got to show you that. But anyway, I think this was really fun, if I remember correctly. Really action packed and really fun. Yeah, I'm not really sure why this was never released on DVD or Blu-ray. I mean, at least what I've seen, I've not really come across. When it comes to this video or like the previous one of that as well, I can be totally wrong about this one, but this is just my own knowledge as to that the fact that I've actually never really seen an official DVD or Blu-ray release of these films. So, but anyway, yeah, Savage Justice. That was a really odd pause in the previous section, so sorry for that. Now the next one is a film which is the only one which I've never seen before, and it's Out of Bounds with Michael. What's his name? Michael. Damn. Doesn't say. Oh, what's his name again? Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah, of course. Who desperately wanted to get away from his, nerdy characters of the 80s. I mean, he really desperately needed to. He wanted to do something else. I've actually really heard good things about this one, but for some reason, one or another, this was never released on DVD or Blu-ray, from what I've heard or like what I've seen. So, but yeah, looks really entertaining. And it's an 80s film from the mid 80s, so yeah, we'd love to see this one get released eventually. And then we have the next one, which is a film called Kid, which is also known as something else. I can't really remember the other alternate title. I think you're probably screaming at now right now, like, oh, it's called that or that. But this film is basically about C. Thomas Howell. He's like back for revenge, I believe the film is actually called in English, if I'm not completely wrong. But he's actually back for revenge in this film because his family has gotten like murdered by a couple of like thugs or whatever, like 10 years earlier, and he's back for revenge basically. So it's a typical revenge film. Some people would say, "Oh, see Thomas Howell. I don't see him as like this tough guy type of person in general." So it's sort of like a weird casting choice to have him in this type of film. But I think he did an amazing job, and I really, really enjoyed this one. The end credits, like the song in the end credits, I've been listening to so many times. If you never heard about that before, go check that out. Check that out. Apparently, this came out in the late 80s, early 90s. According to the back of this, it's 1990. So, yeah, whatever. Really stupid title, Kid. I think Back for Revenge is a little bit better of a title, but yeah, Kid, or whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to make a correction about the previous one, the movie Kid. I believe that actually has a German release, but I believe that's probably out of print. I just forgot about to tell you that in the previous like section of this video. But this is the next film. This, you might ask, I mean, most of these are like old rentals, like Swedish rentals, so that's the reason why this is not really like the original title here on the front. But this is actually Deadly Pursuit, I believe it's called. This cover art doesn't really do the film justice because I didn't find the film to be that violent at all. I mean, there's some violence here and there, but I expected more of an action-packed film. This is more of a drama film with action sequences inserted into the film. I know that sounds really strange, but if you ever watch this film, don't expect like a full-blown like carnage like this cover probably promises you. Yeah, let's see if I can show you the back. Yes, I can show the back. I remember this being decent enough. I mean, once again, when it comes to some of these like VHS tapes, I mean, the lighting is really bad from time to time, but I think that's mainly the reason because of the VHS is so old. But yeah, Deadly Pursuit, I believe it's called. And the last one for this video is going to be a film called Street Night with Jeff Speakman. Remember him? Now, once again, this is yet another Canon film. And actually, if I remember correctly, this is like one of the very last films that Canon produced before going bankrupt, which is just really a shame because I think most of their films are really, really entertaining. I mean, there's some really bad ones as well, but usually they had some really fun, cheesy moments in them. Yeah, it's basically about Jeff Speakman. He's like this cop, and he's like, you know the story, you know the drill at this point. He's sort of like this cop, and he just goes his own way to try to catch the bad guys and whatnot, if I remember correctly. But yeah, once again, a film that has sadly been lost in obscurity because of this. But yeah, anyway, Street Night. So that's the last one for this one, or like the last title for this video. I'm probably gonna make yet another one of these, which is just gonna be like random films because they're just like random like genres. This was like the action one, and the previous one was the horror one. So do with that what you will. But if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe if you want to. Not gonna force anyone, like I usually say. So yeah, keep your eyes open for the next one, and see you next time. Bye bye.